My goodness, we are back. Did you guys miss me? Because I missed you. I could not be more excited about today's episode. We're going to be talking about the last year. It's been about 6 months since I've done a podcast. I'm going to be sharing my experiences in the last year, how things have changed with me, my career, and obviously my vision for this podcast. So, welcome. Thank you for being here, and welcome to the life of a makeup artist. First things first, I want to talk about why the change. The last episode with the amazing Jamaica Rose was in December, Jamaica of Rose and Skincare. But since then, I've come into a new understanding of myself and what I want this podcast to be. Now, the word life in the life of a makeup artist really means a lot to me because that's why I started this podcast, right? At the time, there wasn't a lot of podcasts that were run by makeup artists, and our experiences and our perspective on beauty is obviously a little bit different. And I felt as though, also when I shared a little bit more vulnerably about life things, I would get so many responses. Of course, our guests always share as much as they can, and I really appreciate that. But I don't want to lose sight of that word life. The things we go through. Yes, we're gonna still talk about beauty and all these things, but it can really be a lot sometimes, and I want to talk about that. And I know that that is going to be a little bit uncomfortable for me a little bit because I can be a secret squirrel. But I think it's for myself, for, just sharing and just stepping out of that comfort zone. I think it'll be helpful for all of us. I obviously, I do this podcast for you guys, but, I think for me it helps because I can be able to look back on experiences and what I've gone through. And, just hearing you guys' stories and, brand founders and whoever it is, it really resonates with me, and hopefully resonates with you. So we're going to be sharing more stories, more everyday life things. And I just want to, say thank you real quick because you guys have been so amazing. I've gotten messages like, hey, are you coming back with a podcast? Like, what's good? I'm waiting for an episode. So I really appreciate the love, and shout out to Gabby and Katie for running the Life of a Makeup Artist page. It's a lot to juggle. So, I have help now, and it's been really amazing to have, these amazing women help me like kind of just flush out what my vision is for this brand. So on to the next point. On to the next point. So, this last year, honestly, has been tough for everyone, right? Obviously. But it will be remiss not to talk about how transformative this last year has been. You guys know I'm a working makeup artist in New York. I work in beauty and fashion. I like to work on the more beauty side if you catch me, on set. I love working with beauty brands. But I was always a content creator, right? That's how I started. But when I came to New York, it was like, you're an influencer. That's not the energy that we're giving. We're giving pro artists. We're giving professional. Okay, you're not an influencer. I was like, okay, well, bet. Okay, I'm gonna just come and do what I gotta do, and that was be a makeup artist. But I didn't really. I try not to forget my core audience, the people that were following my story, because I started my YouTube channel when I was still living in Trinidad. And I moved. I showed everyone, hey, I'm moving to New York. This is what I'm gonna do, and I still had, my core audience, my core fam that was really like looking out for me and sending me messages about how proud they were. So I always stayed true to that, but it really just wasn't, it wasn't my focus, so I always say there are two sides to beauty. Obviously, there's the products, the fun, but there's also a business side of beauty. And a lot of people connect with me because, yes, I work in New York, and they want to know how I've gotten some of the things that I've gotten, or the things, some of the clients that I work with. And I want to share those things because I felt as though, there are so many people that have shared generously with me. And not to say like everyone has to share everything, but there's obviously some things where I'm like, okay, you could tell people it's not gonna like do anything to you, right? And when I moved to New York, I had some of those experiences, and I was like, all right, I'm not gonna be that person. I want to share more. And the first thing I did when I moved to New York was I did a business class. I was always very savvy in that area, but what I started to do was coaching other makeup artists and people that were interested in just not just the content creator side, but working as a makeup artist and leveling up um and being makeup artist turning into more so like getting into content. Not saying you have to be a quote unquote influencer, but someone that just creates content, whether it's edutainment or educational. It's a shift, and it's not necessarily a smooth kind of shift. It requires a lot of work, and I think sometimes people don't realize how much work goes into actually creating content. Because as a makeup artist, when you show up on set, it's going to have a digitech, a producer, a videographer, all the things, right? A AD, hairstylist, nails. But when you're creating content for yourself, you're doing all of that. You have to do all of that, and you have to make sure that your lighting good, your audio good, and then you're still post production. You have to edit. Especially, you're starting out, you're doing it by yourself. You don't have the team or the resources to do all of that. Have a team to edit for you and do all of these things. So that's where I kind of come in, kind of help people navigate. And it's been great, that experience, because as I teach, I learn. And I'm just really excited because even in the last year, I've been able to work with a lot of amazing brands like Stuart Wiseman, Coach, Carl's Daughter, NYX Cosmetics, Makeup Forever, so many of my dream brands. And I'm so grateful. And I'm talking about the highlights, but I can't forget that this year has also been a struggle. It has a lot of things has happened. And I'm talking about the last year, but it's really just been like October. So it's not a full year. It's been like the last 6 months or so. But and especially, I mean, obviously during quarantine we were all going through it. But this last few months, I had to get a biopsy. And I actually wasn't gonna share this, but I had to get a biopsy. It was during breast cancer month, and I kept seeing all these posts, and I was just like, damn, like I feel something, but like what's going on? I actually have not shared this on my Instagram at all. Only a few of my friends know about it, and I think I mentioned it in a small room on Clubhouse back in December because we were all getting ready for the new year. I shed a little tucked hair. I'm just very like, I don't like to cry in public and stuff, but whatever. Um so I had to get a biopsy, and you know it's, how can I say this, it was terrifying. I didn't even tell my sister. I still haven't told my mom. She probably, I don't know, hopefully she doesn't listen to this episode. But my mom actually was had to have heart surgery, so during quarantine I did not want to travel, but I had to go see her. So I went, and it was in between like having to work and stuff, so I was back and forth when I can, because I had to quarantine and stuff. And my sister stayed there for over a month. Thank God my mom is okay now. She's literally in the Bahamas living her best life. So we thank God we moved, but it was a lot happening. And all that to say, like, that also ties into like why the podcast wasn't what was on my mind at the time. There was so many things going on. But I'm glad that, I even went for a checkup recently and I'm still fine. But I'm gonna continue to be positive and take care of myself, and stuff like that. I think we all go through things, whether it's anxiety, depression, family things. So it's important for me to kind of share those things, because I think we always kind of like share the highlight reel, share like the amazing clients, but we want to talk about all the things, all the ebbs and flows, what life really is, all that encompasses it. And I think it's also important for me to remember who the girl that moved to New York in 2013, 8 years ago, and remember to remain that person, always positive, always writing things down, always staying true to who I am, being my giggly self. Obviously, there's a time and a place, but being myself and just continuing to stay grounded, stay true to who I am, because all of the things that I've gone through in the last few months has taught me a lot. Um, and it's definitely made me stronger. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for this community, the community that supports me, my online friends, all the people that I've met in the last, few months. They've been such a blessing, and I want to continue to share. And one of my friends messaged me. She was like, "Oh my God, I love you. You're the best." Da, da, da. And I was like, "Girl, what?" Like literally, my prayer is you have to. This is me, right? I'm not imposing prayer on anyone if you don't pray, but like I'm praying like blessed to be a blessing, right? Blessed to be a, not breast, Lord. Blessed to be a blessed to be a blessing. Like if I have something, I want to share it with you. So I think that, if we are on this earth, I think we are meant to make somebody else's life better, whether it's motivation or just mentioning the name in a room. Like all those things are super important. And I want to make sure that, that that always precedes me. You know what I mean? And it's so funny actually. So my friend Laramie and I, we have a volunteer program. It's not anything super grassroots, small, we small, but it's called the life, not the life of makeup artist. It's called Artists Making a Difference, and essentially what we do, we support homes around New York, Street Work, The Door, Women's Prisons Association, and a few others. And we do hair, makeup, nails, and barbering. And then we do kind of like a product donation because we all work in fashion. We all get products, and sometimes we can't go through all of it. So we kind of put together like a shopping day for them where they just kind of really lay everything out and say, here's a bag, and you just do your thing, choose what you want. And it's so fun. You know what I mean? It's so fun. And that's really instilled from like my grandmother. My grandmother always made me like give stuff, to the people that we lived back home in St. Madeline. But anyways, so what do you call it? Opportunity came towards me. NYX Cosmetics was partnering with a company. I won't say too much because I'm not sure if it's out. But essentially, we were working on women that were formerly incarcerated, and I can't make that up. Like I can't say like, oh, let me. You don't do things to get something. You just do things and you go on about your life, and things align as they should. You know what I mean? So me getting that opportunity, obviously they don't know, like they don't know about life on makeover. The artists. I don't know why I keep saying life. This is because I'm in podcast mode now. They don't know about artists making a difference. But it's so amazing that I was able to be part of that day. These amazing women with amazing stories. And yeah, I just want to bring that up because I was like, damn, like it's so crazy that just being who you are is gonna get you to where you need to be. So be a good person, be good, be good. But I also want to share that you guys have been the reason for this like big return. The messages, the calls, I appreciate all of you. And I hope that as I share, you guys will share. I have some thoughts on how like my guests and stuff and who I want to bring on, so stay tuned because it's going to get very interesting. And I really just want to say, thank you. You're going to see episodes as usual on Wednesdays. We are going to work in seasons just because I'm a one person show for now. And we're gonna make it work. So, we're gonna do seasons, so we'll always be, refreshed, and consistently bringing you good content. So, thank you so much for being here, and I will catch you on the next episode. Bye, guys.